Hello, and welcome to this session on how to hire associates smarter, faster, and better for your law firm this year and in the future. I'm Kristen Tyler. I'm one of the founders of Law Clerk. I'm also an attorney, and I'm really excited to be here with you today to help talk about some strategies that can change the way you find new talent for your law firm as you continue to grow and build the firm. All right, enough about me. Let's get started, okay? So, 'tis the season. Now, you may be like, Kristen, this is January. We're past the holiday season. It's not Thanksgiving. It's not Christmas or Hanukkah, but it's a different season. It's lateral move season. This is the time of year a lot of associates get their bonuses and decide to move on to a different firm. We see a lot of movement in the legal industry for a lot of reasons. And this year, or this time of year in particular, we see people making a lot of changes and moves. And that can leave you and your law firm in a lurch of all of a sudden you have an associate give notice and leave. But really, these hiring gaps and these hiring holes can happen any time of year. I've had partners at law firms call me because they had young associates suddenly go out on unexpected medical leave. Or people can, maybe their spouse has to move and so they're moving, or someone gets really sick. You just never know what can happen. There's no guarantees in life. We know that, right? And so this is why it's good to have more tools in your tool belt to help you have a better idea of how to hire when those unexpected changes happen, okay? Now, if there's one thing we've learned over the past couple of years, it is that hiring is not easy, okay? So if you've had a hard time finding the right people for roles at your firm, whether that's as an associate attorney or a paralegal or someone to answer the phones, you're not alone. Robert Half did a study and found that 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having a difficult time hiring. And this is across all industries, not just legal. Legal has had its own challenges with hiring. We'll get into some of those, but across the board, companies are having a hard time finding the talent that they want to find. So what's the deal with hiring associate attorneys specifically? Okay, you got to say that in your best Jerry Seinfeld voice. What's the deal with hiring associate attorneys? The short answer is that associates are looking for a lot of different things. A lot of top talent associates don't want to be going into the office every day. They want remote work. Some don't want to be hands-on, going to court, dealing with clients. They want to do different types of work and build a different legal career than maybe you and I started at as young associates at our first law firm. And so the answer to where did the associates go is they're still out there. You just have to look for them in different places and be willing to adapt to different working needs to meet what they're looking for so that it's a win for everyone, okay? So when it comes to traditional law firm hiring, the two big downfalls are the fact that traditional law firm hiring is really slow, like painfully slow. It can take upwards of 3 to 12 months or more to make a lateral hire, and that's hiring an associate. Maybe you want to hire a 5th-year attorney and you're trying to look around your local market to find a 5th year, and that's all about finding the right fit at the right time. You might find the right fit, but you're talking to them in August and they say, look, I've had a killer year. I'm going to get a huge bonus at the end of the year at this firm. I'm not making a move until after the first of the year. That's not, even though it's the right fit, it's not the right timing for that person, which means it's not the right timing for you because you need to hire someone now. In fact, you probably needed to hire someone a little while ago. But this is why the traditional law firm hiring method of hiring from your local talent pool can really take a long time and be very time intensive, which is costing you money and taking you away from that valuable legal work that you would rather be doing. Other big downfall when it comes to hiring associates is it's really expensive. You've probably heard of NALP. They put out an associate salary survey. The most recent one was 2023. I'm sure hoping they'll update it this year. But associate salaries have skyrocketed in the past 4 years. They really have gone up about 30%. And this isn't at big law firms. This is at firms with 100 or fewer attorneys, okay? And if you're looking at an attorney with maybe 5, 6, 7 years experience, those numbers are much higher. By the time you factor in the benefits and overhead that go along with that traditional full-time hire of an associate attorney as an employee of the firm, the all-in cost to hire an associate a first year can be well over $200,000 and go up. And this is, the median in all markets. And of course, if you live on one of the coasts, if you're in San Francisco or New York or LA, you're going to be paying closer to $300,000 for a first-year associate who's going to need a lot of training and handholding. So if, the slow, expensive nature of this traditional law firm hiring method is not fitting your firm's needs, then it's time to come up with a different strategy, okay? And I've got a few ideas for you today. My first tip before we really dig into this is I really want to challenge you and your firm to hire not for what you need right now in this moment, but for the team you're going to need in 6 months. You have to get ahead of your hiring needs and anticipate those. Otherwise, you're never going to be caught up. You're going to be treading water, always behind, always trying to hire for your current needs. It's better to get ahead of that and find the right person. That way you're not rushed. Onboard them, get them acquainted, and get them rolling so that they are in place when maybe that next big case or that next big client comes around. You also really need to consider all of your options when it comes to law firm hiring. And this is for all roles. Of course, I'm focusing primarily on associate attorneys, but whether you need someone to help with marketing or accounting functions, answering the phones, paralegal, whatever, there's a variety of options for you. These include, of course, a full-time traditional employee hire, a part-time hire, someone in office or remote. You could do a hybrid of all of the above. And of course, there's outsourcing to independent contractors who often bring extreme talent at affordable rates and have a lot of flexibility. When you look at all those options, my guess is that you may come to the conclusion that outsourcing to an independent contractor might be a better solution for you and your team than that traditional hire of a full-time employee, okay? Leave yourself open to this. Even if right now in this moment you're thinking, this wouldn't work for us or our team, I really want to challenge you that it can, and it is working for thousands of law firms all across the country. The best strategy when it comes to hiring for associate attorneys at your firms is to develop a very hybrid approach, a multi-pronged hiring approach that incorporates a mix of all of these different functions. Maybe you do need full-time in-office associates that are employees of the firm. Maybe you need some part-time people for seasonal work. Maybe you need to outsource to some independent contractors or develop a relationship with remote associates for ongoing work. There's a variety of things, and you need to mix and match and come up with a strategy that best fits your needs. And the good news is that legal outsourcing has really become mainstream. Everyone is doing this, and if you're not, you're missing out. And there's a lot of different companies and solutions out there. Of course, our company, Law Clerk, would love to work with you, but we may not be the best fit for a particular need that you have. And so if we're not, we're going to point you in the direction of one of the many other options that are out there. Okay, now when it comes to speed, of course, we already talked about the fact that traditional law firm hiring is very slow. But when you're outsourcing through a service like Law Clerk, it's much faster. We can help you connect with talented freelance attorneys for project-based work within hours, if not minutes. Our project work gets going really quick. And if you're looking to connect with a remote associate to work with on an ongoing, recurring basis, we can help you find those types of people within days rather than months. So it's much faster when you are looking at our really deep talent pool and the tools we've built to help you vet candidates and find the right person very quickly. Speaking of deep talent pool, we are really proud of the network we've built. We have by far the largest network of talented freelance attorneys. These are attorneys with a lot of different backgrounds and expertise who have chosen a very different career path very intentionally. They've done this on purpose. It's not because they can't get a real job, a so-called real job. It's because they want to live life and practice law differently than we have in the past. And they're incredibly talented. Just to give you a quick sampling of a few of the thousands of lawyers that we have available for remote work on our site. Here's Abigail. She's a young attorney, a total go-getter. I mean, just talk about a workhorse. In this month when I pulled this example, she had billed 279 hours through Law Clerk for the firm she was working with at that time. Here's another young go-getter building his own firm, and he's, this is a solo, and he's looking to supplement his income through a little bit of freelance work. Tim is just a rock star. He's a former, I believe, federal clerk, and barred in many states, and just a phenomenal writer. Of course, you can get into some more niche practice areas like probate and trust. Yvonne, who went to Stanford Law School, I mean, just really impressive. Jesse's another one of our full-time freelance attorneys who's doing this very intentionally after being a court clerk. And he's working in business and civil litigation, which is, of course, a big chunk of the work we see. And we also have people with decades of experience like Catherine, who came to full-time freelance work after a long career in litigation and appellate work. So, I mean, this is really just a like teeny tiny sample of the talent we have. There are so many more, all practice areas, all 50 states. So the talent is out there. If you had a concern about that, I can assure you the talent is out there. The next step is to figure out what is the best hiring option with Law Clerk. And we have a few different options. And we also have some great resources for you to rely on. First and foremost, when you register with Law Clerk and create an account, there's no fee to sign up, okay? You go to lawclerk.legal, you sign up, give us some information. We verify that you are who you say you are with an ID verification, and then you're up and running. There's no fee to sign up. There's no monthly fee. So it's kind of a no-brainer to at least register for an account. That way it's available to you when you need it, and to have that talent available at the tip of your fingertip, all right? It's a few clicks away. Once you do that, you are going to be matched with what we call a dedicated Law Clerk advisor. Your advisor is going to be there for you, kind of like a personal concierge. They're going to help you evaluate the different hiring options, what's best for you. Do you need someone for a one-off project, or do you need someone on an ongoing basis? They're also going to help you go through candidates and just really kind of hold your hand as much as you want your hand held through your first few pieces of work until you get the hang of it. I always say that outsourcing is a bit of an art, not a science. You may not get it right the first time, but keep trying. And every time you delegate work through Law Clerk, you're going to get better at it, and you're going to be even more satisfied with the experience and the work product. Okay. Now, when it comes to work options, we have a variety of different ways to get work done. By far, our hourly associate option is the most popular. This has been a game changer for law firms who want to have another attorney on standby that they can have available for work, overflow work as needed, and that work can fluctuate. So this is a great option for firms where maybe you don't feel like your overflow needs are going to be predictable. They can change week to week, month to month. And with hourly, you are going to find and vet the right person, pay them by the hour, okay? Related to hourly is our subscription option. This is a good choice if you have a predictable, consistent amount of work that you know you're going to need to assign to someone. If you know you're going to have that steady flow of work, then it's really best to commit to a subscription with someone. That way they can know how to budget their time and allot the right amount of time to you and your firm's work and be available to you, okay? Last but not least is our original product offering. So if you saw Law Clerk in 2018, 2019, 2020, we had projects. And project work is a great way to just tap into this talent and get help for a single project when you need it. Whether you need someone to dig through a file and write a demand letter, whether you want someone to write with fresh eyes to come in and write an appellate brief, whatever the need may be, projects are always a great solution to have available. Okay, hiring by the hour. Again, we have two options for that. That's either our hourly program, which can fluctuate and it's flexible, or subscription if you have a predictable amount you want to lock in. This screen just shows you the basic information that you're going to put in when you're posting to find someone through this kind of work. It's really easy. And again, your advisor can help you. So what's the return on investment with a remote associate through either hourly or subscription, okay? Let's say you find someone and you are paying them $100 an hour for the work that they're doing for you. Great. Let's say that you determine based on their years of experience, their expertise, your market, et cetera, that a reasonable market rate to charge their work is $300 an hour. If they do 100 hours of work for you in a given month, okay, that'd be what a relief would that be to you and your team to have another attorney on standby you could send 100 hours of work to when you need to. That's just really great. If they do 100 hours of work, that means they are going to be generating $30,000 in billable work that you can bill to clients. Keeping in mind that you paid $10,000 to get that work done, without any of the benefits and overhead and stuff that you have with a traditional hire, this is an additional profit to the firm of $20,000 in 1 month. If you kept this person on as overflow at a similar level over the course of the year, that's $240,000 more revenue to come into your firm, which if you're a solo owner, you can do the math. If you've got partners, you can do the math. Talk about a game changer. It's really, really powerful. Okay, same thing with our project work. Really easy to post a project. You come in and give it a name, you set your deadline, how long you want to take applications, give a price and a description. Your advisor can help you with all of this. Our projects are done on a flat fee, and the math on projects is really great as well. So let's say you hire someone to write a motion for you. You just don't have time to write this motion, whatever. You set the flat fee price for that project at $1,000. They're still going to keep track of their time and give you a time card. Let's say they work 8.5 hours. You determine, again, based on your practice area, the nature of the work, et cetera, that a reasonable market rate to bill that work would be $350. That means you're going to bill the client $29.75 for that writing of the motion. Plus, you're going to bill your own time to review, edit the motion, and of course, go to the hearing and appear on it and argue it. But just on the portion of that you outsource to the freelance attorney, the profit on that is almost $2,000 on one project, okay? Not to mention that you probably saved yourself an entire workday. I mean, you've saved 8.5 hours. Maybe it would only take you 6.5 or 7 hours to write this, but it's still a major time savings, and it never hurts to have another set of eyes on that work and get someone else's perspective. Okay, so this is one project. Now imagine if you did a project like this one time a week, every week for a year. That's over 6 figures of additional revenue into your firm, not to mention all of the work that you got done. So this can have a huge impact on your firm, on your workflow, on your bottom line. If you're trying to get to the next stage, this is a great way to tap into our talent and get some help. Total game changer. I want to remind you that, law clerk can kind of feel a little bit like a candy store to busy lawyers, and you can always mix and match. So maybe you need someone on hourly that you need help about 15, 20 hours a week. Great. You can still post projects as needed. Or maybe you have a subscription because you really want to lock in someone for a set number of hours per month. But if you get to the point you still have overflow, then you could go to an hourly associate for that kind of unexpected, hard to predict overflow type work. So you can mix and match. And again, your advisor can help you figure out the best way to do that. When it comes to the benefits of outsourcing, to find talented remote associate attorneys through Law Clerk, the benefits really are kind of endless. But just to give a recap of some of the high-level points that we've discussed today, of course, there's low overhead. You could increase profit. You can obtain flexibility. You give them as much work as you need to. There's no obligation to send work if you don't have it. It can be very flexible depending on your workload. You can scale up fast. If you need to get talent, like we showed in the one slide, we can help you find remote associates within days, not months, days, which is a lot faster than the traditional hiring method. And you really have to just see our talent pool to see the deep level of expertise through our associates. You got to see it for yourself to believe it. I'm sure that you may have some additional questions after this. And so if you do, we have a ton more information on our website, lawclerk.legal, including a white paper on the ethics of outsourcing that does a deep dive under the model rules and the ethics rules of all 50 state bars. And if you like learning by video, the good news is we have a lot of other videos on our YouTube channel. So go over there, like, subscribe, do all the things. What do the kids say on YouTube? Smash that subscribe button. I'm kidding. But we really do have a lot of information if you want to see information by practice area. Or you can also visit lawclerk.legal to talk to one of our experts. You can book a demo there, click that talk to an expert button, and you can schedule a time to have a one-on-one conversation with someone on our team about your firm's specific needs and the best way to get work done with Law Clerk. All right, so I hope this was helpful. I want you to get ahead of your hiring needs. I want you to look at all your options, and I want you to really evaluate the way that outsourcing to talented remote associates through Law Clerk could have a huge impact on your firm and your bottom line in the next year and the years ahead. Thanks a lot, and hope that you'll visit us at lawclerk.legal very soon.